Hello guys, this is Joana Saahirah of Cairo with a note, a video for all my students, everybody involved in Joana Saahirah's online dance school. This is for you. I'm looking like Simone de Beauvoir. Now I'm noticing my look. It's a very weird look. So I hope you don't get distracted by it. And this video is about my upcoming online workshop at the school. Silences and pauses in Egyptian dance. Now, let me start by telling you something important. Silences and pauses are at the core of Egyptian music and dance. This is the first thing most people are not taught, okay? The second thing, I've been working the theme of silences and pauses in Egyptian dance since a long time, but I work it mixed with many other skills and subjects that are related with Egyptian dance. So this is the first time I'm focusing specifically on this theme. Okay, I'm creating a workshop only about this theme, so we really go deep into it. Third thing, it was not my idea. I believe in giving credit to the people who come up with ideas and create stuff because I'm a creator myself and I love to have my creativity respected and the things that I create respected. So my friend and organizer in Brazil, Elizabeth Moro, she came up with the theme silences and pauses in Egyptian dance for the workshop that I taught in Brazil in September last month. So this was her idea, not mine. And it was an excellent idea because the workshop in Brazil was brilliant. The results were amazing. And here we are upgrading the workshop and the contents for an online format that I am sure will change the way you see Egyptian dance and yourself. And when I say this, people sometimes don't believe me. They think I'm saying it out of a marketing strategy. But that's not what happens. First, because I'm terrible at marketing. That's not my forte. I wish it was, but it's not. Second, because I only say what I believe in. Okay, so when I mention that something will eventually change the way you see Egyptian dance and the way you see yourself, I mean it. Okay, so what is the importance of silences and pauses in Egyptian dance? First of all, let's say what is the importance of silences and pauses in life? Because as you know for sure, if you've been following my work, for me, there is no separation between Egyptian dance and life. Everything that applies to Egyptian dance applies to life. This is one of the things that I love the most about Egyptian dance. And one of the things that excites me the most about teaching it, because if I'm teaching properly, I'm not only giving you tools to dance better, I'm giving you tools to live better with yourself, yeah, in your own life. So this is very interesting for me, that we have a dance, an art form that actually allows us to be more interesting, complete, self-aware people. This is very interesting, and I hope you find it too. So why is it so challenging to stop and to have silence in our lives, especially today's? We're surrounded by noise, stimulation, information, very superficial, quick kind of data that comes at us from television, mobile phones, internet is everywhere. So that means we have information available and connectivity with others, at least virtually, 24 hours per day, but also that we are becoming very superficial and very stressed and wired in the worst possible sense of the word. So the problem about today's world, or one of them, is that we don't have spaces for silence. We don't have spaces for pause. We're pushed to move and do and communicate and be on 24 hours per day, and we are not made for that. We as human beings, nature needs a pause. This is why we have the day and we have the night. This is why we have the sun and we have the moon. Yeah, we cannot survive without resting off phases. We need to sleep in order to be operational during the day. We need to be off the world in order to go back to the world in a good mental health state, mental and physical and emotional health state. So a big problem today that you can always see in the dance, because then again, dance and life are connected, is that people are not used to stop. And they don't know the meaning of silence anymore. They're always on, always connected, even if just virtually, with many things at the same time. So superficiality and stress and the inability to retreat back and go inside of ourselves, being silenced, be still. This is something very rare these days. We really have to be very stubborn and extremely self-aware to be able to do that. I try to instill that in my life by doing yoga, doing meditation. I just started my meditation practice recently, and I'm very happy with it. I'm very proud of myself because I'm an overdoer myself. So when I mention that people are having a hard time stopping and connecting with themselves, I'm speaking about me as well. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just stating what I see around me and in me as well. So we're all on the same boat. Another problem with silence and pauses in our life is because once we pause, once we retreat from the world madness and we stay in silence with ourselves, we become more aware. And when you become more aware, you become more aware of everything, of the stuff that you would like to see and probably the stuff that you wouldn't like to see in yourself. Things that you need to change, wounds, pain that has not been digested, things that you have not accepted, things that you want to do or want to be that you are not yet, frustration, rage, forgiveness that has not happened towards yourself or other people, etc., etc., etc. So there is an array of reality checks that happen when you retreat in silence and remain still, that most people, honestly, I don't think they want to go there, because it's tough, man. It can be really tough to get real on yourself. It can be really tough. It's not for the fainted of heart. It's not for the weak of heart at all. So this is another thing that in our lives stop us from stopping and creating silence spaces, Now, in dance, in Egyptian dance, the big problem is that once we don't stop, once we don't stay in silence and create silence, breathing spaces in our dance, we don't listen to the music. This is the first problem. And Egyptian dance starts with knowing how to listen. I say this to my students all the time. So the ones who are watching this, who have been studying with me consistently, you've heard me saying this before, more than once. Egyptian dance starts with listening. It doesn't start with moving. And people think that it's about moving. What should I do? Which movements should I do? And that they're convinced that if they know steps and movements, they're dancers. And that's not correct. It's not correct. First, you have to know how to listen, okay? Listen to the music. And in order to listen, you have to stop. And I don't know why I'm doing like this, like Indians. Hey, India, I love you guys. I want to go back to India very soon. This was just a footnote. Okay, so listening requires stillness. And Egyptian dance starts with listening. So if you don't stay still, you don't listen, which means you're not doing Egyptian dance. And I know you will hate me for this, but it's true. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that listening is the beginning of Egyptian dance, and in order to listen, you have to remain still. You have to create spaces for connection with the music, but also spaces to feel the music, to allow the music to get into your system and affect you emotionally and move from that place. That's Egyptian dance, baby. That's the Egyptian dance I've known in many years of career in Egypt and study before that. That's the Egyptian dance that I still love. It is not an automatic response of empty movements that you presume are very fancy. They're not, baby. They're not. Egyptian dance is not a new thing anymore. You cannot pull the exotic card anymore. You gotta go further than that, and you can go further than that. Okay, so let's understand that if there is no emotional connection with the music, also you're not doing Egyptian dance. And then again, a lot of people will be so annoyed by this because they've not been trained like that. You know, I was not trained like that. I learned a lot of these things that I'm sharing with you when I travel the world in my school, in private lessons. I learned them by working, through work. I didn't have any teacher who taught me a lot of the things that I'm teaching now. So I understand where you're coming from. I know that most of you were not trained like this because I wasn't trained like this as well. Okay. And nonetheless, this is what I've discovered. And the thing is, try it. I'm not saying that I'm the owner of the truth. I'm the owner of my truth for sure. Everything that I discover is true for me, then I share it, okay? But you are welcome to receive the information and question it and test it. Just test it. See if I'm right or wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. And that's perfect, okay? No problem, but test it. Try new ways of doing things, try a new way instead of going towards the music and moving like a maniac, like on automatic pilot. Sit back and listen, sit back and listen. Take your time in a dance piece to create spaces for listening and emotional connection with the music. This is also the beginning of tarab, which people sell as a dance style or a music style. It's just nonsense. Tarab, it's ecstasy. Tarab is exaltation, is a state of connection with our soul through the music. I surrender my ego, I surrender my mind, I surrender everything I think I should be doing to the music, and I allow the music to transport me and reconnect me with my own soul, and then I'm home, baby. And that's startup. It's not a dance style. It's not a dance style. No, you can have a moment of tarab when you are, hugging someone you love, when you are meditating, when you are listening to the silence, when you're listening to the wind, when you're listening to birds. I love to hear the birds, the wings, the sound of the wings when I'm very close to birds and they're not scared. So they stay there with me and I listen to the sound of the flapping of the wings. Yeah, I know this sounds loony, but I really love it. And I am transported by that beautiful, subtle sound. I forget about life outside of myself. I forget about myself, and then I'm one with life. And this is really the connection with my soul, the connection with God, whatever you may like to call it. That's Tara. Okay. And there is no Tara without stillness. There is no Tara without deep emotional listening. There is no Tara without retreating inside, forgetting your bloody ego, man, what you think you should be do to impress them and knock their socks out, and just let yourself be transported by the music. But you cannot do that if you don't stop. So what we're going to work on the workshop that will start this weekend, silences and pauses in Egyptian dance, is this and so much more. How we can incorporate the silences and the pauses in our dance and in our life as well. Yeah. And how we can build a good balance between that and the action and the dynamism and the music and even the hysterical mode, because Egyptian dance has space for everything. It has space for music and silence, for action and stillness, for feminine and masculine principle, the doing warrior, here I come, yeah, which I'm very fond of, but also the feminine, sitting back, receiving, being soft, being assimilating of everything that is happening and transforming everything that you're receiving, totally open, absolutely vulnerable. So Egyptian dance is a good balance between these two poles. And what we try to do, we try to come to the middle. It's hard. It's a challenge, but we can try. Yeah. And that's what we're gonna do in this very, very special workshop, guys. This is not your regular belly dance flick. It's not. So I warn you, if you're coming for shake your hips, do 5 minutes, 10 minutes of shimmy, then you turn, then 5 minutes of shimmy and you turn, do tummy flicks and impress them. This is not for you, okay? That's not what I do. There's a lot of people doing that, and I have no interest in that. This is Egyptian dance as an art form, as the language of the soul, and a tool for self-discovery and empowerment. So if you're interested in this workshop is definitely for you. I'm very excited to be sharing the material I'll be sharing, and I will see each other. You will see each other, we, around the world, in the school, in any way, okay? Guys, connect with me. Feel welcome to send me emails, ask me for themes to the school, things that you would like me to teach at the school, your feedback, your suggestions, your constructive criticism. That's all welcome. Yeah, we're here to learn and grow from each other. I believe in that. So I'm sending you all a big, big kiss, and I hope to see you soon at Joana Saahirah's online dance school. Big, big hug full of love and loads of soulful dance.